Today's generative AI interview begins with a moment that looks simple, but feels more complex underneath. The interviewer sets the tone for the Gen AI interview, and the candidate can feel the pressure rising. This is the kind of question that quietly tests real understanding. The question sounds easy at first, but becomes difficult when you try to explain it clearly. This is where a simple question, hard answer situation often happens in interviews. Many candidates struggle not because they lack knowledge, but because they lack clarity. The interviewer leans forward and introduces a concept expected in modern AI roles. The focus now shifts to prompt engineering, a key idea in generative AI. This topic often separates beginners from experienced professionals. The room goes quiet as the interviewer looks directly at the candidate. The silent pressure behind, "Can you explain?" creates a tense moment. This is where confidence and clarity must come together. Before the explanation begins, there is a promise of something valuable at the end. The candidate prepares to deliver a final definition that can impress the interviewer. Staying till the end will reveal a clear and complete answer. The interviewer now asks the main question in a clear and direct way. The core interview question is, what is prompt engineering in generative AI? The candidate pauses briefly to organize the response. The candidate gathers thoughts carefully before starting the explanation. This moment of think answer shows the importance of structured thinking. A rushed response here could easily lead to confusion. The explanation begins with a relatable, real-world example. Starting with an appropriate example makes the concept easier to understand. This approach builds a strong connection with the interviewer. The candidate introduces a simple, imaginary scenario. Imagine a smart AI assistant that can perform almost any task you ask. It seems intelligent, but depends entirely on your instructions. The explanation now highlights an important limitation. Everything depends on input when working with AI systems. This becomes the foundation of the concept. The candidate explains what happens when instructions are unclear. This situation represents a bad prompt given to the system. The output often becomes confusing and less useful. The explanation continues with the result of poor input. The model may generate a complex answer that is hard to understand. This creates frustration for the user. The candidate now shifts to the correct approach. Clear instructions create a good prompt that guides the system better. Even small improvements can make a big difference. The improvement in response quality is clearly highlighted. This leads to a clear output that is easy to understand. Communication between human and AI becomes effective. A simple academic example is introduced for clarity. Consider the photosynthesis example, where explanation style matters. The same topic can produce very different responses. The instruction is now improved for better understanding. Asking to explain like story changes the output completely. The response becomes simpler and more relatable. The impact of better prompts is explained clearly. This results in a better result that matches expectations. The AI now feels more helpful and intuitive. The explanation now defines the basic concept. Understanding what is prompt is the first step here. A prompt is simply the input given to an AI system. The candidate expands on what a prompt can include. This includes any prompt input, such as instructions, questions, or tasks. Everything begins from this interaction. The explanation moves into the main concept. Prompt engineering is an engineering process, not random input. It requires careful and deliberate design. The purpose of this process is explained further. It focuses on design prompts in a structured way. This ensures consistent and accurate outputs. The goal of prompt engineering is clarified. The objective is to guide AI output toward the desired response. This aligns user intent with model behavior. A relatable analogy is introduced for better understanding. This is explained using a food analogy that everyone understands. Simple analogies make concepts easier to grasp. The analogy begins with an unclear instruction. Saying, "give me anything," is a vague order. The result becomes unpredictable. The analogy now shows a better approach. A detailed request becomes a specific order. This produces the exact desired outcome. The analogy is connected back to AI systems. This demonstrates better control over the output. Precision in input leads to precision in results. The explanation moves to real-world usage. This concept has real application across Gen AI systems. It is widely used in industry. A coding example is introduced. Asking, "Write code," is a weak coding example prompt. It lacks clarity and direction. The same example is improved with more detail. Adding structure creates a structured prompt. This improves response accuracy significantly. The outcome of structured prompts is explained. This produces high-quality output that is usable and relevant. The system becomes more reliable. The importance of the concept is emphasized. Understanding why important helps in real applications. Models depend heavily on input quality. The core principle is summarized simply. The rule is input equals output in AI systems. Better inputs always lead to better results. A framework for better prompts is introduced. This follows a structured approach using role, task, format, and context. This ensures clarity and consistency. The explanation now moves toward conclusion. This is the final answer moment in the interview. Everything is now ready for a clear definition. The candidate delivers the final definition with clarity. Prompt engineering definition is the practice of designing effective inputs to guide generative AI models to produce accurate, relevant, and high-quality outputs. This is the complete prompt engineering definition expected in interviews.